Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Valeria and this is the Off-Road Ranch. Today, in continuation of the videos about bad habits and procrastination, I want to talk about self-discipline. How to become disciplined and what does this word mean, which scares away many people and which is associated with restrictions and denials of life's pleasures. After this video, you will look at self-discipline from a different angle, and it will become much easier for you to create your own life plan and to follow it, because in fact, discipline is your possibility of your fulfilling life. So, what is discipline? Why discipline is freedom? How to achieve discipline? Mistakes of discipline? And first steps. What is discipline? Discipline itself is the rules of individual behavior that comply with accepted social norms or with the requirements of schedule. This is strict and precise observance of the rules accepted by a person for implementation. The word discipline comes from the Latin word discipulus and means the one who is taught. And in the beginning, this word meant teaching. Then, the subject taught. Then, the means necessary to teach and guide people. Then, the observance by members of a certain group of rules and customs accepted in the group. And it also meant punishment for disobedience and non-compliance with rules and regulations. Later, the concept of self-discipline appeared. Self-discipline differs from the primary definition of discipline in that it is not simply a schedule. It is not a schedule to be followed because the employee says so or because society demands it. Self-discipline is conscious, volitional control of one's own behavior. Self-discipline is self-control, responsibility, and the ability to organize your own activities in accordance with the accepted plan that you have built for yourself. This is the ability to ignore weaknesses and laziness, continuing to do really important things, and go towards the goal. Discipline is an indicator that your activities are controlled by your will and your mind, and not by primitive instincts and desires. It implies the presence of such qualities as willpower, responsibility, and self-respect. Today, discipline is the most important and only tool for self-realization and self-development. With discipline, you can achieve the results and success you need in all areas of your life, regardless of your background and talents. Acquire valuable and rare skills. Become financially independent. Build close, trusting relationships. Make reliable friends. Become an authority and expert in certain fields. Have the opportunity to radically influence the course of events. And so on. But the problem is that many people do not understand what results and in what area they want, why they need any benefits, and why they need a certain way of life. Often, these are prescriptions imposed by society, and a person subconsciously feels that he does not need to strive for what society will approve. A person doesn't realize the value in doing certain things. He either submits to pressure, copies the generally accepted way of life and loses himself, or he refuses to interact with the world, withdrawing into himself, avoiding reality and denying any improvement of the quality of life. But many people not only don't know what they want, but also don't know how to determine what they want. Many people don't want to do anything at all, simply because defining their goals and building their strategy is difficult. But if a person is guided by what is accepted and what is necessary according to society, then self-discipline doesn't have any meaning for a person, since the goals of society doesn't lead to a person's self-realization. A person doesn't consider it necessary to organize his life and limit himself in something, since neither discipline nor lack of discipline cares, leads to happiness, to results, to achievements, to success, to freedom. So, why discipline is freedom? If you constantly need to follow some schedule, some rules, limit yourself, give up what you want, obey what you need, then why discipline is freedom? Let's look at what freedom is and how it relates to you. There are dozens of definitions of this term, from philosophy to the criminal codes of countries. Many peoples, philosophers, religions, and modern law interpret this concept differently, and each has a certain way of thinking and life. In order for discipline to become something meaningful and necessary for you, you need to understand what freedom means to you. However, it is not just a philosophical concept of freedom, but the lifestyle that you want. If you don't know what kind of freedom you want and why, then you will not care about what generally accepted freedom is. And this will not bother you until your deep values and principles of attitude towards the world are not affected. Until something happens that is unacceptable for you, your views, and your freedom. However, firstly, by this time it will be too late for you to change the new state of affairs. Your range of available activities will become even worse than it is now. Your opportunities will become smaller and life more difficult. You will have only an option to lament, complain, and get used to the new iteration in life, which I talked about in the video number 52. Secondly, you can simply ignore it. For example, choosing a trend of positive thinking, which is self-deception and doesn't correspond to reality. That is, you will actively pretend that wild things are not happening around you. Or choose the world of illusions, which I talked about in the videos about habits, addictions, and procrastination. That is, immerse yourself in an activity that will eat up your time and kill your potential in exchange for short-term pleasure without results. Or even worse, it will lead to depression or addiction at the physiological and psychological levels. In all these cases, you deprive yourself of an adequate perception of the world. And without an adequate assessment of what is happening, and without understanding the structure of the world, it is impossible to determine what you need in this world, what your interests are, what worries you, and what the right action should be that will lead to the desired results. Therefore, for discipline to mean freedom for you and become motivation for you, you need to understand for yourself what freedom means for you. And freedom is the opportunity to live the way you want to live, without violating the rights and freedoms of other people. This is the realization of your desires, achieving your goals, becoming a successful person. To understand what freedom is for you, you need to sit down and determine for yourself what specific principles, values, actions, and your desires are embedded in this concept. This may take a long time, not 1 hour, not 1 week, and most importantly, determine what your main desire is, your goal which is relevant to you and will be relevant for a long time. Most likely, it has been in your head for a long time, but you have never clearly formulated it loud to yourself. Most likely, you have a dream that you want to fulfill, but you consider it unattainable for you, for a usual person. Or there are things that upset you, that traumatize you, and you think that this shouldn't happen. As long as you just get upset, the situation gets worse. Therefore, you need to choose your meaning, the one you want to go throughout your life to. I will give examples. Influencing the adoption of certain laws that you consider stupid. Searching for a cure for some disease. Anonymous and secure transactions. Gender equality. Equal education throughout the world. Distribution of alternative energy sources and reduction of consumption of planetary resources. Recycling waste and clearing land of waste. Reducing the level of mental and depressive disorders. Reducing child mortality. Non-violent treatment of animals. And many others. There are hundreds of these problems, and despite their complexity, you can have real impact with the right approach. And discipline can truly give you this possibility, as well as it gives you self-belief. The larger task you set for yourself, the more indirect benefits you will receive in the form of various experiences, unique skills, important connections with different people, and so on. Moreover, do not set generally accepted material goals, but those that will benefit both you and society. To start with, this is your real self-realization as a person. In addition, you can really achieve what you plan, even if it seems impossible and even if others say otherwise. Moreover, our world is in such a deplorable state that even if you have a huge amount of money, it will not outweigh the problems around you. You will still intuitively know about it. And finally, if you achieve your difficult goals and bring benefit and meaning to the world, then in 99% of cases, this means that by this moment, you have already provided yourself with generally accepted benefits, because it is simply logical. This way, you are not just running to satisfy your needs, which can constantly grow and never end, but you are changing the world for the better, positively influencing the lives of other people, while at the same time having close needs. And admit to yourself, no matter what your current situation is, most of you want to make this world a better place, but you have forgotten what it feels like to have dreams and to believe that you have power. And as a small confirmation of this, I will say that when people write posts about help or advice on Reddit, regardless of the topic of the request, thousands of comments are left under the post, because everyone wants their voice to be heard, important, useful, and make someone else's life better. So discipline helps you define what you want, how you want it, develop steps to achieve it, and every day move towards the goal in any area of your life that you want. Discipline is needed to ensure that you achieve results that you previously didn't believe in, so that you get what you need with a very high probability. Discipline is needed for you to do what you want, and not for doing something unnecessary under the pressure of other people and giving up those things that are important to you. How to achieve discipline? What are the rules that will ensure that making plans and sticking to a schedule is realistic and least difficult for you? You need to consider that discipline is a balance of work and rest. It is impossible to be disciplined if you are trying to work 24 hours a day. Your body doesn't have such resources. Do not deprive yourself of sleep, rest, physical activity, and useful, moderate socialization. Otherwise, you can cause serious damage to your health, physical and mental. Discipline is setting priorities and estimating the timing of your actions. You will need to determine which things are most important and how much time different tasks take you. You need to accept that you cannot do everything you want at once. Discipline is taking into consideration force majeure. Some things are completely out of your control, and you will have to accept that some of your plans will not come true, and change your strategy, your schedule, your ways of achieving your goals. Discipline is flexibility and adaptation. A schedule is not a constant state that will always be the same. You need to get used to reviewing tasks, changing, reevaluating, coordinating, replacing one task with another. Moreover, you need to be able to do this quickly enough so that unexpected, uncontrollable events do not stop your work. Discipline is the effort to complete tasks on time, within the given deadlines. A schedule alone is not enough. The tasks will not complete themselves. You will have many factors that may distract you that need to be minimized. First of all, among these factors are the smartphone, social networks, chaos in your working zone, shopping and online shopping. Discipline is constant effort, so you need a goal that will be important to you constantly. Discipline is recording and writing down of thoughts and actions. Firstly, order in your notes gives order in your actions and peace of mind. And secondly, many valuable ideas appear in the head only for a minute and then disappear due to amount of work. Taking notes will help you to organize information and create new opportunities. Discipline is the failure to do what you want the first time. It is the ability to continue and start after something that didn't work out for you. Discipline is the persistence of doing only necessary things when you want to give up. Discipline is forming habits. Habits are friends that make it easier to become a disciplined person. Useful habits seem to break your activities into separate stages, so step-by-step adherence to the schedule becomes easier. Discipline is a multiple increase in speed and results. Change your way of thinking, your lifestyle, your plans, and you will get results several times faster than you thought. And most importantly, discipline is having meaning in life. Without this, sooner or later you will decide that there is no point in making the effort, and you will take 1,000 steps back in your development. Mistakes of discipline. Many factors influence you and your well-being. Developing the skill of being disciplined may have complications that you are not aware of, and this will put you off. Therefore, I will give advice based on my experience on how to maintain discipline when goals and motivation may not be enough. The reverse side of discipline is procrastination. Your willpower and energy may not be enough to complete tasks efficiently and on time if you are tired, if you are under pressure from external circumstances, or if you have conflicts. It is important to provide you with conditions that will help you to do what you need to do. Watch the video about procrastination on my channel. There are 5 reasons for procrastination and how to get rid of them. And yours is definitely among them. It is simple. Discipline is related to the daily routine. If, according to a schedule, you sleep 7 hours a day, but this time is from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m., then there is a high probability that despite all your efforts, your results will be much lower than if you sleep from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Follow your biological clock. Discipline is associated with an adequate assessment of your capabilities, your condition, your skill level, external opportunities, barriers. These elements must not only be assessed before starting work, but must be perceived as calmly as possible, as a fact, and preferably without negative emotions that take away the opportunity to perform actions methodically and rationally. Many sources talk about rewards when achieving goals. In my opinion, this is an erroneous and harmful conditioning of oneself to act in anticipation of reward. This is training like an animal and lack of awareness. The reward should be the achievement of the very goal you are working for and intermediate results. And all other actions, for example, travel, vacation, shopping, should be considered as necessary just to maintain balance and meet needs. A good start to the day doesn't mean a good ending. Conversely, a bad start to the day doesn't mean a bad ending. Since after bad events occur, further actions depend on you. If you woke up to an alarm clock, did exercises, ate according to a schedule, started the workday well, this doesn't mean that an event doesn't occur that will knock you out of your routine. Conversely, if you overslept your plans, broke your car, lost your wallet and pinched a finger, you can plunge to melancholy and worse. But you should stop, breathe out, determine your further actions based on what happened, and continue your day trying to make it right for you. However, of course, it is preferably to fit in your day into a schedule as much as possible immediately. And most importantly, discipline doesn't equal quick results and success. Discipline doesn't even mean that you will 100% succeed. You can still fail, lose resources, money, opportunities. But 100% you will have skills that cannot be taken away from you. You will have willpower, perseverance, diligence, creativity, determination, understanding of the world, and many other advantages. And you will have the realization that you can try again. You have become stronger despite the difficulties and failures. First steps toward discipline. However, despite recommendations and watching videos, taking the first steps can be very difficult. Where to begin? The first steps to taking control of your life are determining the meaning of your life and developing self-discipline and willpower. I already have an impressive list of videos on how to change your lifestyle and change your life and the world around you for the better. And do it not through forcing yourself, but gradually, identifying and choosing what you need. The key is not only to watch, but also to do. This is the hardest part, but start step by step. Firstly, you already know your approximate established schedule. You need to write it out and determine for yourself your to-do list, your plans, and the eaters of your time and productivity. Each time you can analyze your activities again and again, eliminate time wasters, and further develop in this direction. Secondly, at my community page, you can see an example of a real schedule, which I periodically post every few months. And thirdly, I listed some of my tools in the video number 1. Perhaps you can use some of them for yourself. The purpose of your watching the video is to get tools that will improve your life that you can put into practice. And I'm a person just like you, not just a voice on the channel. There are many tools. Try different. You will only get benefits and you will understand what is best for you. And a little secret. If you just cannot bring yourself to get down to business, even if it is important to you, you want to do it, you have a lot of energy, but you just cannot, I will share your secret. Sit down and wait for 1 minute. After 1 minute, your impulsiveness and fuss will become much less, and you will be ready to get down to business. If some event has happened and your plans have gone astray, and you realize that you're nervous or spending your time aimlessly, do the same. Sit down and wait for 1 minute. Calm down and determine how you change your plans and what and when you will do. If freedom is not yours, then your life is in someone else's hands. If you don't feel like your life is being managed, it doesn't mean it isn't being managed. If you think that you lead rather detached lifestyle and you are not part of any global processes, then this is managing your life for you. The lack of your value, your opinion, the lack of your authority and experience for the world, this is a result of the fact that someone else is managing your life. You do nothing either for yourself or for this world. You have very limited capabilities. All your actions are accounted and controlled by someone. This means that you yourself have given your life into the hands of those who decide for you that you have no participation in this world. The situation will get worse every year. No, every day, until you take your life into your hands and determine a course of action that will help you to live it with purpose. And there is not a single magic pill and not a single magic drug that will solve the problem for you. Medications may help temporarily improve the condition, but permanent changes are up to you. Only your constant efforts, your discipline, your goals and results will make you happier and the world around you a better place. And even if it takes a lifetime, perhaps you will be able to do something for the benefit of the descendants of humanity. And I think this is one of the best ways to live your time. It was Valeria, the Off-Road Ranch. I wish you all the best and see you soon.